Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a theory that has been kicking around for decades. Are there really ancient monuments on Mars? We're going to unpack the whole story of how just one photograph sparked this massive investigation, and yeah, accusations of a major NASA cover-up.
So, what if? What if NASA actually found evidence of an ancient civilization up there and just decided not to tell us? This incredible question, it all starts not with a rover, but with a single, grainy photograph from back in the 70s that sent some serious shockwaves through the scientific world. All right, let's set the scene. The year is 1976. The Cold War is in full swing, the space race is everything, and all eyes are on Mars. The next great frontier for humanity. So, NASA's Viking probes were on this groundbreaking mission. Map Mars in crazy detail and, hunt for life. These things were basically picture-taking machines, beaming back over 26,000 images of the red planet. And, one of those pictures was about to change everything. As thousands of these images are streaming back to Earth, a guy on the Viking team named Toby Owen is scanning data from a region they called Cydonia. And that's when he stops cold. Because on frame number 35A72, he sees something that just, it shouldn't be there. And there it was, a mile-long structure that looked eerily like a human face, sitting right next to what looked like pyramids. But almost as quickly as it was spotted, NASA shut the whole thing down. The official explanation? It's just a weird rock, a simple trick of light and shadows. Case closed. Or was it?
For a handful of independent researchers, that easy explanation, it just didn't feel right. I mean, the face seemed way too perfect, too symmetrical, to be some random act of nature. And this is where the story really takes a turn. It goes from being this curious little anomaly to a full-blown investigation, led by a few really determined people who just refuse to let this mystery die. So the story could have just ended right there, but two computer scientists, Vincent DiPietro and Gregory Moliner, they just couldn't shake that image. So they went and tracked down the original NASA data tapes, totally determined to give the face a real second look. So they developed their own cutting-edge techniques to enhance the raw data, and what they found was pretty stunning. The face wasn't just some blob. It appeared to have symmetrical eyes, a nose, and even a mouth. And here's the crucial part. They found a second Viking image taken at a totally different time of day that seemed to confirm the structure. This, they argued, was proof it wasn't just a trick of light. Their work eventually caught the eye of author Richard Hoagland, who put together this diverse team of specialists for what he called the Independent Mars Investigation. And look, this wasn't some casual thing. This was a serious, concerted effort to really analyze the photographic evidence. This quote really became their mission statement. They just weren't going to take NASA's word for it. They believed that science is all about the evidence, not just trusting what the authorities tell you. Their whole goal was to let the data speak for itself.
And all of this led them to a really bold new theory, what they called the intelligence hypothesis. And the idea was pretty radical. What if these monuments at Cydonia weren't rocks at all? What if they were the actual ruins of an ancient Martian civilization?
And they didn't just stop at what the pictures looked like. No, they actually ran the numbers. Their statistical analysis concluded that the chances of these geometrically perfect aligned structures just forming naturally were, as they put it, staggeringly low.
Then they made a really startling connection. The team started to argue that the layout at Cydonia, a central phase flanked by these pyramid-like structures, was basically a mirror image of ancient sites right here on Earth, specifically the Giza Plateau with its Sphinx and Great Pyramids. But as the investigation went on, the claims, they just got bolder. The team's focus started to shift away from simple discovery to alleging that NASA wasn't just mistaken, that it was engaged in an active, decades-long cover-up.
Now, to build their case, conspiracy theorists pointed to this long, kind of suspicious trail of failed missions to Mars. But the biggest red flag for them was the Mars Observer in 1993. Its main mission? Rephotograph Cydonia. And wouldn't you know it, it went completely silent just moments before it could.
So, the real heart of the cover-up accusation lies in comparing the old photos to the new ones. Theorists claim that when NASA finally did release new images from later missions, they were suspiciously blurry, totally washed out, and just plain low quality. A deliberate attempt, they say, to hide what's really there.
And the claims? They got even more extreme. Some theorists even suggested that the lost Mars Observer might have been carrying explosives,
and that its real mission was to actually deface the site to hide the truth forever. NASA's official story, of course, was a catastrophic fuel line rupture.
So this is the core of the accusation, that NASA knows exactly what's at Cydonia and is actively hiding it. Proponents claim the blurry photos, the lost probes, the official denials. It's all part of this calculated campaign to conceal the evidence of a past Martian civilization.
And this brings us to the most profound, the most speculative part of the whole theory. I mean, if the monuments are real, and if there really was a cover-up, what could that possibly mean for humanity's place in the universe? And look, this wasn't just some fringe American idea. The theory got international attention, even from researchers in the Soviet Union. One of their scientists wrote in a magazine that, hey, if this is true, it would completely change our entire understanding of where intelligence comes from in the universe. And if you really follow this theory all the way to its conclusion, it leads to some truly mind-bending questions, right? Could a civilization have existed on Mars 500,000 years ago? Is the face a deliberate message, a cosmic calling card? And could there even be a terrestrial connection, some kind of link between these Martian ruins and the sudden rise of great civilizations right here on Earth? The ultimate implication of this theory is that the story of Mars might not be an alien story at all. It could, in fact, be a forgotten chapter of our own. That Mars is actually a mirror, just reflecting a past that we've all long forgotten.
So in the end, whether you believe it's an elaborate fiction fueled by wishful thinking or a profound truth hidden by a veil of secrecy, the monuments of Mars are a powerful reminder. They challenge us to keep looking up, to question authority, and to never, ever stop asking, what else might be out there?